Hi, hello everyone. Thanks for joining with us today this evening. So I welcome everyone. So moving on to the further slide. So a brief intro about Next Gen Data Aspirants community. Next Gen Data Aspirants community is a community where it will conduct session collaborated with Microsoft Fabric, and we are conducting this DP700 certification series. This is the third session. So on the screen you are seeing I am into 𝒄𝒏𝒕𝒐𝒔𝒉 as a organizer of this NDAC community, and currently I am working as a data engineering specialist in one of the Indian MNC. Currently I am Microsoft Fabric community super user. So Ajay, can you please introduce yourself?
Yep. Thank you, Suparna. So, hello everyone. My name is Ajay Babu. So, I'm working as a assistant manager in GenPact. Yeah. Thank you, Suparna.
Yeah, moving on to the further slide. So today, this under Fabric Data Days, we are already having a collaboration with Microsoft. And this event sponsor is KSR Data Vision. So at the end of the session, we are going to conduct a quiz. So winner of the quiz will get goodie from KSR Data Vision. And moving on to the further slide. So these are the session guidelines. Please follow everyone. Please be on mute. And if you have any points, you can express in a respectful way. And if you have any questions, please park your questions till end of the session. At the end of the session, we are going to take each and every question of yours. And let me show you something. If you are not applied for this exam voucher, so this is the website. So here, if you see, this is the where voucher link. So here, if you go, request your 100% DP700. Click on this, see eligibility details. Once, if you click on this, see eligibility details, it will navigate to this site. It's loading. Just I can show
Suparna,
this
your
and later
voice is breaking.
yeah. Just a minute.
Kuna, some lag will be there from your voice and it's breaking in between. Could you please check once again?
Yeah, now here, so I am sharing the link. So this is the voucher request form. So here what you need to do, so if you are a new user, you need to sign in, because already I signed in the Microsoft Fabric community. That's why here my name is there. So if you can choose DP700, and from this you can fill, this is a self-explanatory, and what challenge did you complete or which session did you view. You can share our session details. Your team will be sharing the link, which link you need to paste it here and fill all these details and submit. So already, so few of the members, those who are attended our DP700 sessions, they got the voucher also, like Krishnakant and some 𝒐𝒏𝒕𝒐𝒔, those are got the vouchers also. So I request everyone, please try to utilize this opportunity. Now I'll stop my screen share. And I'm welcoming our
Suparna, your voice is
esteemed
again breaking.
speaker. Santosh, are you there in the call?
Yeah, I'm there. Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
Santosh. Santosh, welcome
Yes,
you,
Santosh.
and the floor is yours now.
Yeah. So thank you all, and thanks, Suparna, for the intro. And I'll not take much time. I'll just keep it as short as possible. So you guys are applying for DP 700, and this is a session 3. So we already had a couple of sessions in this part. So this is a part 3, I would say. And if you want to get certified for the DP 700, it's Fabric Data Engineer, and you need to know a few important topics. And those few important topics, the list is like, first you would have already gone through in the session 1, implement and manage analytical solution. That was already covered 2 weeks back, and last week we had inject and transform data. And today I'll be talking on the monitor and optimize your solution. So this is the third part, I would say. And in terms of the topic, we'll talk about monitor and optimizing Fabric solutions. So whenever you build a solution, You also need to know that how you are monitoring and how you need to optimize the solutions. You cannot just build on a given environment. You need to have some good practices, do's and don'ts, and that is something which we will be seeing. And it's my privilege to talk about myself. Most of you guys know about me, but still it's my responsibility to tell you about myself as well. I have about 11 years of experience working in IT and BTech MBA graduate, and currently working with Microsoft and also part of KSR Data Vision, CTO of Data Vision. And my core experience right from the day one of my career, I've been working with data. So data science, data engineering, and data analytics is my core strength. And apart from my work experience, I'm also been part of training. I was involved in training for the last 6 years, and also certified trainer. And without wasting much time, let's get into what we are going to cover today. So we have to understand what are the steps that you need to know if you want to build a solution, how you can monitor and how you can optimize that solution, right? And for that, we have a monitoring analytical tool, Fabric themselves. They have given us a workspace where we can go and monitor all the metrics, how much of usage that we have done in terms of resource, in terms of workspace, what type of resources we have used. All of this we'll get to know, and how better we can optimize the solutions. For that also we have some of the best practices. I'll be walking you through that as well. And first of all, let me try to give a recap of what we have seen in the TP700. So if you want to take the certification, so basically you will have to go through multiple sections. And the first section, if you see that injecting and transforming data, like you need to understand like how and what are the possible ways that you can inject the data into your environment and start working. And then you will also understand like how secure your solutions has to be. We are working in cloud, so we need to have a secure solution. So that was the second part. And the third part is like monitoring and optimizing analytical solutions. So all these three things is really needed if you want to crack this certification, this particular certification. And you have already gone through couple of 2 sessions, which is about 30 to 35% of your breakage. And the last part that we are going to talk is monitor and optimizing. And again, in the next subsequent sessions, you'll also be hearing from Suparna, like the exam pattern, what are the things that you need to consider and how well you can clear it. So all of this will be discussed by Suparna in the upcoming session. But in terms of technical topic, I'm here to discuss today on how you can build a solution and how optimize you can build the solutions. Okay. Now, here, first of all, why there is a concept called monitoring? Someone has given us a cloud. Why can't we just dive in and why can't we just start using it? Okay. Now, imagine one day suddenly you get a electricity bill of 10,000. So what are you going to do? It's fine, leave it. It's my house. I've used it. And are you going to pay 10,000 rupees bill? Definitely not, right? So what you will do? Every month I used to get for 2,000, 3,000, even though I use AC, all this TV, computers, PC, everything. If I use, you will still see that maybe I'm just getting 2,000 or 2,500, but how come it is about 10,000 now? I don't know where I'm getting noise here. Please be on mute. So if I say that, okay, there is suddenly a bill of 10,000, it's not just like that we go and pay it, right? We need to go and see the breakage, okay? From which to which, how many units I've used and why is this billing has been charged, right? Exactly like your electricity units, the number of units you use, the billing will be applied. Similarly, in Fabric, we have something like the capacity, right? How much units you're using in your capacity. It's basically CUs. Now, if you don't monitor, you'll end up paying more, and you'll also see some sort of slowness in your reports, data warehousing. So it is going to affect the complete system. That is the reason why we need monitoring, right? You just buy a simple internet pack. You start monitoring, correct? You start monitoring how much I've used. Is my daily limit used or not? So you do that. So tracking is really important for every project, and particularly you guys being a developers may not focus on it, but at the senior level, because we have to be involved in the billing, we will have to be involved in every cycle. So we'll have to think about it, correct? So that is where monitoring comes into picture. Now monitoring, you need to have a special admin permissions in order to view all the workspaces resources. So that is where your monitoring is needed. Now talking about in monitoring, why is important? The more and more you monitor, you'll get to know that where you are leaking the money, right? You cannot just pay bill for unused resources, correct? So whenever you are taking a license, you need to also keep a track of, okay, for my project, what is the licensing required? What is the capacity needed? How much I'm going to pay? And for the people usually keep creating workspaces for practice purpose, and it all goes into a unused or maybe not that important for my projects, right? So we need to clean up. We need to understand that which is in use, which is not in use. So all of this is important because you can maximize your performance and you can control your cost, right? It's not like, okay, we have a fabric license and we can start creating n number of workspaces. No, end of the day, it all comes to your billing utilization. So you need to have a better cost control, and you need to have a resource allocation as well, and followed by you need to have some sort of timelines. And in case if anything, there is an issue in terms of slowness, you have to fix it. So this comes as part of your daily routine. So once we do a fabric solution, once we build a fabric solution, it is 100% needed to focus on your monitoring and optimization. Maybe at your developer level, you may not look into it, but at the manager level, at the seniors, the team leaders will definitely keep an eye on it, because for us, every penny is important when you're running a solution. Now, here, some of the benefits, what you can say is, whenever you need a more of resources, we need to choose some automation. For example, automatically resources has to be increased. Am I using a Spark environment? Okay, Spark for what? For what reasons I'm using Spark? Is a workload getting heavier? Okay, let me have some scalability, right? We need to increase the system scalability. And wherever there is a possible, we can reduce the risk of data corruption, right? And we can improve the user experience. And as I said, we can maximize our capacity. For today's project, maybe I need a smaller version. Maybe tomorrow I'll be doing a bigger project. Maybe I need a higher version. So I need to have that capacity within my system. So everyone has been using Fabric for the last 1 year. If not, you can still use it. It's a very user interface tool. You can just log into app.powerbi.com and then go to a Fabric, and you can start exploring that. It's as simple as that. It's a one-stop environment. You get all the solutions. Doesn't matter you're a data scientist, data engineer, or a data analyst. Any solution, data-related solutions can be built with this Fabric, correct? Now, in case if the billing has gone certain limit, we can also have some automated alerts. Email notifications, we can receive it. We can also keep track of how much is being utilized on a daily basis. So all this will help us for monitoring. Now, in terms of your analytical solutions, what they have done is, we have multiple activities that you can do it in Fabric. You can build a data pipelines, you can do a transformations. As usual, you know that Power BI comes with a semantic model refresh. You can have a semantic model. And the most beautiful part of your Fabric solutions is Spark jobs. You can start writing your data engineering work, right? Notebooks, you would have seen a notebooks which you have used in Databricks, but here we can do it in our Fabric. And followed by Lakehouse. Lakehouse, if I want to compare it with our Azure, it's like a storage. You can store n number of files here. And finally, Event Streams is basically working with live streaming data. Now, when you want to build a data engineering, data scientist, or data analytics solutions, whatever you see on the screen, these activities are much needed in terms of pipelines, data flows, semantic models. So all of this is needed. Now, in this Fabric solutions, how much you are utilizing it? What is the cost of your project? What is the cost of the workspace? What licensing we are using? And how much we are going to get benefited by this? Are we having an optimized solutions? So all of this comes under monitoring. Okay. So monitoring, I can simply say it as a CCTV camera for your house. So you can stay as long as you're staying in house. You can still monitor what is happening the outside, right? So it is exactly what we are going to do. We are going to have a CCTV installed on our Fabric to figure out who is coming in, who is going in, how much time they're staying, all of this could be figured out, correct? Now with this, what are some best practices? You need to keep on monitoring on the daily basis. Who is using, what resources has been used? Is it really needed? Just because a person wants to learn to a fabric, he cannot use my organization account and start creating the multiple resource project. No, I will not allow that, right? Uh, when I represent an organization, it's my responsibility also to take care of price. Costing and pricing are the two important things that I would focus. Is it really needed? Okay, it's a price. Maybe I'm overusing it. Okay, it's a cost, right? So I need to figure out that. And as usual, whenever you are working with a project, start collecting the resource details, like who is using what, that is really needed. And when it comes to unnecessary workspaces, data loads, copy activities, someone will come use our fabric activities, just run the pipeline and leave it, right? So who's going to be responsible? Now I need to pay the bill. I need to take the responsibility. So we need to keep on monitoring. The only way that we can avoid unnecessary cost is to monitor. So that's what we are going to do, correct? And finally, in the last couple of projects, what I have experienced when working with the client is, when we built the project, everything was good, right? 6 months back, 8 months back, we have built a report, we have built a data pipelines, we have built a models. It's working fine. Now slowly the clients have started complaining. The reports are slower, its copy data is not happening, there is a failure, there is an error. This is what the client says. Now, how come it's possible? 6 months back, same environment, same project, no added extra data, all good, it's working fine. But what happened now? There could be a case that multiple people are started hitting the same workspace. Multiple people are creating the same resource, similar resource, doing some optimization themselves, and they're ending up in overusing the resources. Possibility is there, right? So some of the best practices, keep monitoring what is happening. What are the number of workspaces that is getting created? What is the number of instances that is created? Once the instance is created, are they shutting it down or they're just leaving it and going out? So all of this has to be tracked. And whenever there is an issue, it could be a troubleshooting issue or it's a debugging issue, we have to resolve it. And followed by, we also need to focus on performance optimization. Now, in this particularly managing this, we have some of the metric. Fabric as an admin monitoring hub, where we can see the status, start time, end time, duration, activity status. So all of this could be achieved. So you have multiple workspaces that is built for each and every project. And for this and every project, how are we going to monitor? So that's what I'm going to show you. So we'll have some sort of demo here, but you may not be able to see in your screen unless and until you're the admin of the tenant. So if you're not an admin, you'll not be able to see. But again, from our side, we can provide some sort of screenshots, which could be helpful for preparing for your certification exam. Now, I'll show you a demo. Now, this is Microsoft Fabric. They themselves as given as one app, right? And which is a fabric capacity metric. Now, this metric, being an admin, so I'll be able to get this. And if you go and open this report, you will see this as a app. Okay. So what we have health, and we have compute, and we have the storage. And in case we have enabled some auto scaling options, we can see this, and followed by we have a item history. Okay. So as I said, this is an app that is they themselves has given us. We can get it just as in then you go to a get this app, and provided you need to be an admin, so you get this and you can see this. Now let's go for a compute. Okay, it will not be possible to cover all the components and filters with the interest of time, so I'll give you the overview of what this can be done, and apart from that we can provide you the screenshots. Now if you see here, there is a compute and there is a capacity, right? So I've opted for trial capacity, and this is SKU 64, and you can see in the last 14 days which workspace has been utilized more, right? Which capacity units was utilized more. what is the duration in seconds it has been used, right? And you can also have some sort of dynamic selections. If you want to have some sort of selected columns, you can have this. Let's say that I will take a item size, or if I'm taking a performance, how exactly it is performing, you can have this. I'll just try to refresh by selecting the selected columns, and you'll be able to say dynamic selections. All of this is done by Microsoft Fabric itself. Now, if you see here, I've selected one trial, and for that trial, we have the 64 SKU, and you can see that on the daily basis, which activity ranks on top. So as we know that it's a ribbon chart. So ribbon chart helps you to figure out like from which value to which value, what is the growth, we can get to know that. And in terms of your copy job, data flows, data sets, lakehouse, what is the change that is on daily basis, we can see that, right? And in terms of capacity units, how much of utilization that we have done. So this is a capacity units, and followed by duration, like how much time that it has been used. And if you can see the maximum goes to the activator, right? We can see that the metric value, it's been increased. I mean, it's been increased on a daily basis. Now, then you go for the operations. In the operations, we can also figure out like for which particular operator we have the increased value. And finally, we can also see with the users. Okay, with respect to users also, we should be able to see who has used the more. And if you see in the last 14 days, it is a default filtering for 14 days, which workspace has been utilized more. And you can see, so all of this are students who have used Fabric in the last 14 days. So if you can see, there is a workspace called Nima. So she has built a pipeline, and she has done a migration pipeline. So we have worked upon a couple of projects where we have done a migration on-prem to cloud migration. And for this on-prem to cloud migration, you can see that now as a team leader or as a manager, what I need to do, I need to go and talk to Nima. Nima, what is wrong? The CPU has been running for this much of time, and it's billable. And you will see that the CPU usage is the highest among all the other workspaces, and the duration is like about this is a number in seconds. So what is wrong? What have you done it? So we can go and research, right? So this is what is needed. I'll not know who is using what, but as an admin, I have the complete control of each and every workspace. May there be a couple of other workspaces, the utilization and CPU is less. Okay, fine. I would still go with it. And like this, we can see the dynamic selections in terms of item size, how much of items has been used, all of this. And here also we can see the usage percentage of getting added over time, and you can also see what is a cumulative. So all of this comes under compute. When I say compute, see two things. There is a problem wherever you go. When you're working with a big data, you have two issues. One is a storage issue, one is a processing issue. And for storage and processing, you are using some of the compute engine. You could be using SQL, you could be writing Python scripts, or you could be writing a PySpark scripts. So we have to monitor that, right? So that is where there's a compute. How much of resources, how much of capacity units you have used. Now let's go for the storage. In the storage, if you see what percentage of the GBs has been used and which are the top 5 workspaces that has been used more in terms of storage. Okay, so let it load, and you can see that for the same trial, one team or one company can have multiple trials. And if you can see here, for the last 6 days, 7 days, what is the total number of GBs you used? So today is September 22nd, right? And we have utilized about 0.40 GB, where particularly in this capacity. Okay, in this capacity. And as you know that we have workspace, Dennis B. Saraswati workspace. There is a workspace name and followed by Nagaraj, followed by test project. So all of this are the workspace which they have utilized about 0.16 GB, 0.1 GB, 0.05 GB. So what I'll do now, I'll talk to the team. What have you stored here? Is it really required? Or it is a test data that you have stored it for practice sessions? So I'll have to check with them. And then I will have to try to minimize or remove the unwanted storages, right? So totally we have about 10 workspaces that is present in this trial. and you can see about 0.40 in terms of current storage, and 0.08 will be the billable storage. And you can also select the dates, whichever dates you want, you can select it. And there were other couple of filters where if you want to focus on the storage type or the modules, we can also go and select it. And this is a cumulative billing storage by date. So obviously when I say cumulative, day by day the storage will be increased, right? So this is a cumulative. 0.3 become 0.4, 0.4 become 0.6, 0.6 become 0.7, and it goes on, right? So the more and more you use it, you will be able to see the cumulative results. Okay. This particular trial we have activated on November 13. So that's why you see the date here. But if I want to go for a past dates, if you have the date and if you have the license, or if you're using this trial, you should be able to see. Okay. So don't be surprised why we don't have the billing for previous 2 weeks. This is a fresh account that what we have, fresh license. So that is the reason we don't have. Okay. But this is something which gives you for last 5 days, last 6 days, what is the storage, and in terms of current storage also we'll be able to get. Okay. Now this is on the storage. Now let's come to the auto scale. So when I say auto scale here, as I said, whenever you have working with the data engineering pipelines, sometimes it could be possible that maybe you need a more load, you need a more compute, and you need a more computational power. So for that we would have created some Spark jobs. And Spark, as we know, that it comes with the on computational memory service. So you can start writing your notebook jobs and we can start creating the clusters. So as of now, we don't have any clusters, and that's why you see a blank. But in case if you have a Spark, you'll be able to see here. Okay. And finally, there is an item history. So in the item history, you'll be able to see what is the aggregate compute consumption and what is the CU percentage over time, right? On the daily basis, what we are using. So all of this will be able to get, and which CUs has been moved. So probably we have done a few of the migrations. So migration pipelines we have built. For that migrations, you can see that we have quite a good number of CUs that has been used. And workspace, what is the percentage of use, so total percentage of compute, and which activity has got it. And here you also can see that in case of there any pipelines which has got failed, so we can also see that. So this gives you the percentage of compute in values. Okay, so all of this you see here, and scheduled whenever the data has been scheduled, the pipelines has been scheduled, you can see what type of operations has been taken care. And mostly if you see 93% of all our jobs in our organization was success. In terms of failure, in progress, cancelled, stopped, all of this we can get it. Now this metric one can easily get created and start monitoring about their projects, right? So this usually will be taken care by team leaders, project managers. So they take up a resource, they'll see for which project what I need to do, and based on that we will have to track it. Okay, so this is in terms of capacity metric, and as I said, you will be able to directly get it here. You will have to get this installed from app, and automatically it comes with a report and semantic model. And as usual, you can always go and refresh it and start using it. Okay, now this will help you to analyze and figure out your health of your capacities. Okay, so in the starting, everyone was like, okay, let's use Fabric, let's use Fabric, let's use Fabric. But once you start using it, you'll get to know how costly it is, because it comes with a lot of good features. It's like a one-stop environment. So since I was also involved in a couple of building projects, so that's why I'm sharing my experience here. It's not that easy to just go and start creating your project. You need to have a proper plan, right? See, I can relate it. Imagine you want to build a house. You cannot directly build a house. You have to go for planning. You'll have to see your budget. Just you cannot say, okay, I have a land, I'll build a house. No, that cannot work, right? You need to have a proper budget. Maybe if your budget is high, maybe I'll put high quality materials. Maybe if your budget is low, I'll go with the low quality materials, right? So all of this is needed. Budgeting is needed. Every project, the first question what my client asks is, okay, what will be the budget for this project? How much should I pay for this particular license? How much should I pay for this particular capacity? So that's the first question they ask. So we need to be prepared, and for that you need to understand what type of data you're dealing with, how you're going to store, what type of resources you're going to use. Are you going to use a data lake? Are you going to use a Spark pool? Are you going to use a storage? So all of this has to be pre-estimated before doing any project. Okay, so with that, let's come back to our other activities. Now, this is what I was talking about. We can also track it via environment, like what is the total number of activities followed by different capacities. So one project can have as many as capacities. One project can have as many as capacities. I don't know, I just touched my headphones. Is my voice clear? All good?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes,
So yeah, so in terms of capacity, we do have a different capacities, and for different capacity also we can start seeing how many activities is there. And here we can get in terms of report, data sets, all of this you can see, and which user has used more, that also we can see. This is what I was showing you, right? And apart from this, as I said, this is only applicable for admins. So if you want to look at it, you have to be your admin for your own tenant. Only then you can start looking into this monitoring metric. So you guys are all Power BI developers, so you should understand that how important the metric is, right? And inside your fabric itself, there is a report, right? That's a fabric report. You can see that all this metrics has been created to monitor it. So wherever you go, your Power BI always will follow you. Okay, this is an example, typical example. Even a metric that they have created, that is also on Power BI, correct? Now, here we were seeing the CPU, the capacity utilization, duration, and all of this could be tracked. And in terms of which item was used more, so all of this I will have to focus from the manager perspective. I will have to go for it. Now, okay, cost is there. The cost is very high. What's next? So imagine compared to your last month, this month your electricity bill is increased by 2000. So what's your next step? What's your next step? Okay, compared to 2000, I've got 4000 now. Now, how can I minimize? Okay, cut down your usage of your Wi-Fi after 11 o'clock. Okay, switch off your TV. Okay, fine, good. Then what else? Maybe start avoid using induction stoves. Maybe, yeah, I'll reduce it. Maybe avoid using your air coolers, ACs. Yeah, that I can do. 1 hour I'll use it, 1 hour I'll reduce it. So this is the planning. This is exactly what we call it as optimization, right? So optimization is, let's say a project is being costed, a workspace or a resource is being costed, let's say $20. Now, how can I reduce this $20, right? If you want to be rich, it's not just about earning, it's all about saving. Here I'm here to save the project cost. The project managers will be evaluated on how effectively you're building a plan and how with lesser amount you can go with the project. So that is also needed, right? So here in terms of optimization, what I would focus is three things. One is storage. You need to have a proper storage. Maybe I would start using Lakehouse data warehouse for your storage purpose. And for compute, as we know that one of the most beautiful framework, as the name itself says that it's a Spark in the environment. Spark provides the computational power. So obviously you need to take care of the Spark cost. Good things are always expensive, right? That's true. Wherever you go, the good things and the quality things are also always expensive. So Spark is expensive here. So what we can do, we can start using it on need basis, not just like I'll switch on it on and it's like that. Okay, so imagine you want to use water. That doesn't mean that you will always turn on the tap and okay, let the water flow. Whenever I want, I'll go and use it. That doesn't work. Whenever you want, you will have to go and turn on the tap. That is exactly what we're going to do here. Whenever you want, you have to go and switch on your Spark clusters, use it, shut it down. Shut it down is one of the most beautiful feature that first you have to take care in case if it is not in used. Then talking about processing, nowadays we have come to a stage where everything is a live streaming, right? So all of the data that we get is a live streaming. For live streaming, obviously, yes, my system should run 24/7. So how can I run 24/7? Correct. I also focus on somewhat called fitness. So there is something called your heart rest rate. Do you know that? What is that heart rest rate? If you're not doing any work, right? You're not doing any physical activities. Let's say you're just lying. How much time your heart pumps? That is called heart rate, right? So when you don't do any work, your heart should have lesser beats. That is practically expected. When you're running, when you're swimming, yeah, your heartbeat increases. Similarly, when I am not using, or when the project is not using any of the resource, you cannot keep on switching on your Spark, right? You will have to minimize the cost. So what I'll do, there's something called resting time for Spark as well. If the clusters, if the systems, and if the computation is not used, let's bring the power down, computational power down. And then when we get the data, new data, live streaming data, maybe we'll increase the compute, right? So whenever you want to do something, you take rest first, and then maybe you will utilize that, right? Exactly the same thing. So the other use case is Fabric connects with one lake. So it comes with a lot of compute engines. So it comes with a one centralized environment as well. So obviously when you have connected with multiple resources, multiple services, multiple workspaces, the cost will be involved. So you need to focus on the backend as well. What is happening in the backend? Again, I repeat, you guys would have just started creating a Fabric environment and you would have started doing the project. But I'm telling you, the real headache is for us. We have to keep track of what is happening. We have to understand what is happening. Now, that is very important, correct? So these are some of the optimizations that you can think of it. Now, in terms of lakehouse, we use something called Delta Lake optimization. So it comes with some of Z ordering, clustering, and wherever you want to go with some sort of faster executions, we have some optimized commands. So we choose Delta Lake optimization. So Delta Lake optimizations, if you're aware, Delta is one of the file format. So where we can have the files data stored in the Delta form. Delta form is one of the quicker and I would say a more optimized way of storing, and that is one thing. And we can implement partitioning. Let me tell you what is partitioning here. Let's say we have the data from 2010 to 2025, last 15 years of data. Now this 15 years of data, if I shuffle it and if you keep it in a data warehouse, assuming that every year I'm getting a million record, so 15 years, it's a 15 million record. Now, if I want to store this larger data sets, about 15 million record, and if I want to go and search particularly for 1 year, you will not believe I will have to go and process all the 15 million records if there was no partition. So what I will do? I'll go with a partition. What does a partition means? Every year I'll put it into one bucket. So if I want to search only 2007 data, I can go and search only in that particular partition. Now that gives me the clarity of, rather than searching in 15 million records, just search in 1 million record. So your search is improved, right? And obviously that will improve your performance as well. And there is a concept called caching. So caching is basically an internal memory, like we have some sort of buffer. So any data sets that you keep on reusing it, rather than storing on disk, you can go with the caching. So caching, it's like your RAM, right? You are doing something on your phone and you minimize your screen and your still background, most of the applications is working. How it's working? It is cached on RAM. Exactly here also. Partitioning and caching could be one of the good way to handle your large data sets, and that can improve. And coming to data warehouse is like organizing all the tables in a proper structured form, and we can analyze, adjust the table storages. We can do that. And first of all, using indexes itself will be faster, but here I'm using columnar store index, which is one of the way for optimizing your analytical solutions. Rather than having a normal index, I'd go with the columnar store index, and followed by we can have some sort of distribution key partition strategies to balance across the nodes. So nodes, the meaning of nodes, if you're a data engineer, you should understand nodes is a regular system or a compute engine where we go and run our jobs, right? So this is in terms of a storage optimization. See, the problem can come only from 3 places. One is a storage, one is a processing, and one is a compute. So I need to fix this 3. This 3 is a major problem, right? So we'll have to fix this. So for storage, I've told you, start using the Delta Lake format and have partitioning and caching, and followed by you can use indexes wherever it is necessary. Now, pipelines. This is one of the key term for data engineers. You ask any data engineer what you do, even in sleep, they will say, I build pipelines. Pipelines, pipelines, pipelines. This is exactly what data engineers do. So what does this pipeline do? This makes sure the data is moved from one place to another place effectively without any external challenges. But here it says us, optimize the data movement by limiting unnecessary transformations and leveraging parallelism. Like simply we cannot keep on copying it from here to there to here. No, not required, right? So wherever it is necessary, do it. Wherever it is unnecessary, you can stop it. So stopping unnecessary activities is also a revenue to the company. Please do understand this, a very important statement. Stopping unnecessary cost is also an improvement for a revenue, right? So that is one thing. And use incremental loads instead of full loads. I've been hearing this from few of the Power BI developers. They keep saying that my Power BI report refresh is taking 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes. Once I go and see there, they're refreshing 20 years of data. 2005 to 2025, they are refreshing here. I asked them question, why are you loading this 20 years of data? Anyhow, 2005, 2006 data will not at all change. So why are you keep on refreshing the complete data set? That is exactly one of the mistake what this data analyst guys are doing it. Going with always with full load. So please, no. Let's have incremental loads. What is incremental loads? I'll freeze 15 years of data. I'll archive it. So in the 20 years of data, 15 years I'll archive it. Maybe 5 years I'll go for a refresh. Okay, last 5 years data can change. Okay, that's an improvement, right? So using incremental loads instead of full loads could be an added advantage. And we can use event-based triggers. Say, I'll tell you, imagine you want to run a pipeline. Okay, you want to run a pipeline. So basically, we have something called schedule pipeline. What is schedule pipeline? It's basically like your alarm clock. What you do? Every day 6 o'clock, every day 7 o'clock, you keep an alarm, right? Irrespective of whether it's a weekend, weekday, festival, off day, rainy day, season day, any day, your alarm will ring. Okay. Now, what if I get a new data to my project on every first of month? Okay. Let's assume that I'm getting the data every first of month. If I'm getting the data of every first month, probably in a year, I will get only 12 times. How many of you know the fact that you guys are working for 365 days to get 12 days salary? Only 12 days will get salary in a year. January 30th, February 28th, March 31st, April 30th, May 31st, only you will get 12 days salary and you work for that 365 days, right? Exactly here. I'm getting every month a new data. I cannot schedule a trigger for 365 days. It's going to utilize my complete resource. You no need to keep alarm every single day if you just are waking up only on the first day of every month, right? You're just waking up only on the first of every month. Then what is the point of going and setting up alarm for all 365 days, right? It's unnecessary consuming of resources, right? So what I will do, maybe I can go with monthly schedule. I can go with monthly schedule. Now, what is monthly schedule? Maybe every first of the month, I can schedule it. So if I go with monthly schedule, I'll end up with only with 12 schedules. Okay. Now, another surprise for you. January 15th, I got data. April 20th, I got data. August 5th, I got data. December 11th, I got data. Now, first of all, this is not at all consistent. At least here I used to get every first of month. So I used to schedule a pipeline for every first day of month. But what is this inconsistent? 1 month in 15th, 1 month in 20th, 1 month in 5th, 1 month in 11th. What is this? Now that is where your event-based triggers will be very, very handy. Remember the word event-based triggers. Whenever a new data set comes in, whenever a new file comes in, only then I will run the trigger. I will not run for 365 days. I will not run for 12 days in a month. When a new file comes, maybe that particular day, I will run the pipeline. So this is one of the best way of having your optimization. Okay. What if I'm getting the real-time data? Yes, you may get the real-time data. In that case, what I'll have to do, we'll have to do some filtration, we'll have to do some aggregations, we can use some time windows. Maybe every 5 months, 6 months I'll get the data, maybe after that I'll stream it, correct? So this type of archiving I can do it. And this is something which I was also telling about Spark. What happens in Spark? Automatically the partitioning, sizing, broadcast join. What do you mean by broadcast join? Broadcast join is one of the very important join that we use in Spark. In Spark, what happens for the guys who know Spark, this could be very handy for you even during the interviews. So they'll definitely ask this join, what is a broadcast join? So what happens, right? Whenever you are having multiple data sets, the multiple data sets will be divided into multiple systems. So when you do a join, the data from one system has to be taken to another system. There is a called data shuffling. Obviously, right? From one machine to other machine, you are going and you are moving the data for joins. So there is a data shuffling. So the more the data shuffling, your systems will be burdened, right? Now I have to reduce that. So what I do, there is a special type of join called broadcast join. Smaller data or a smaller table, they will store it in the memory and then they'll easily join it with the hard disk data with RAM data. Data movement is avoided. So rather than storing on disk, I will store it in memory, right? If you want to remember a date, writing down in pen and paper is time consuming than storing it in your memory brain. So storing in your brain is easier, but you have limit. You cannot store everything. You have limit, but storing in your brain is easier. That storing in brain is what I'm saying, storing in RAM, which is more convenient. So by using broadcast joins, caching, partitioning, auto scaling, all of this can improve the processing cost, right? Now, here, I'll show you another demo for your Spark. Okay, so Spark is one of the framework that we use it for our real time, right? So I'll show you that. Yeah, let's say this is a Spark demo workspace I've created. Now, if I go to the workspace setting and I'm doing a data engineer work, I keep saying this again and again, listen it one more time. We can do Power BI reports, we can do data engineering, we can do data science, we can do data warehousing, data factory, you can do. Well, Fabric is one thing which you can do everything here. So I'll go for data engineer and there is something called Spark settings. So in Spark settings, we can select how many nodes you need. All right, maybe I need a lesser nodes and I can give a dynamic allocation. So all of this I can give depending on the workspace, depending on my project, I would go for it. Okay, so what do you mean by dynamic allocations is, as I said, you will utilize the number of resources depending on the need. If there is a heavy work, you will utilize all the 10 systems. If there is a smaller work, maybe utilize one system. So like this, dynamic selections of your executors, worker nodes can drastically reduce your pricing. Okay, so this is one thing. Now, apart from this is what I was talking about in terms of your features. I mean, in terms of admin monitoring, this is again comes under admin monitoring, and you can start seeing what are the metrics that can be tracked here. So if you focus here, totally how many items, what is the capacity? I have one capacity, and when this capacity, how many workspaces has been created, which workspace is being utilized more. Here also I see Suparna's name, right? Suparna's name populates everywhere. So he is a person who has utilized more in terms of capacity usage, followed by which workspace name, right? And among all the items, 26 reports have been used, right? The total items by total type, and we have a one domain, and we can also go and see here and we can filter out it. Okay, so basically there are three type of license that we can have it in Fabric. One is a free trial, and one is a pro resort, and one is a premium. So premium, we usually go with the higher end projects, so that is something we have. Again, we can filter out with respect to item names, which is workspace, and let's say last modified, who has modified. You can see the users, the actual users who has modified. I can go and apply filters and we can figure out all of this. So this comes under the analysis side. Okay, now if you can go and see total workspaces, how many users are there, and how effectively they are using in the total items, how many are reports, how many are semantic model, how many are app. So this is one of the decomposition tree that what we see in Power BI they have utilized here, correct? And followed by workspace details. This is what I was showing you. And now coming to details here. So what is each capacity, what they're doing, and what is the item, and all of this informations can be checked. Maybe it could be a very quick that I'm showing it, but if you sit and research about every metric, you will get to know. Now, who has built this report? It's not me, it's not Suparna, it's not none of us. It's built by our Fabric team. So Fabric, they themselves, they have given this, and they'll be able to showcase this. Okay. Now let's come to inventory. So inventory is, it's like a configuration basis, like how many items are there, how many active items are there. See, totally there are 751 items in our project, and you see 675 are inactive. Now tell me, should I still keep the 675? It is me who's paying bill, yaar. I need to remove this. What will I do with the 675 which is inactive? So my first is cleaning process, right? It's a cleaning process, a sweet clean, I would say. Why are we having 675 of inactive items? Let's remove it, correct? So in terms of active workspace, what is the active items? All of this you can see, we can filter out with respect to workspaces, and we can see some status. Maybe I'll have only active one. Maybe everything else I can remove it. So totally 76 are there. That's fine. And what are the items which is in used? Yeah, that's good, right? So this gives you the inventory details, and followed by we have a overview of preview. So preview is a data governance one. So as of now, we have not protected any data. So we are not dealing with any sensitive information like passwords, user IDs, credentials. So that's why you see most of the features and metrics are 0. We have not dealt with any sensitive information. Like maybe in future we work on some sensitive projects like your customer details, patients details. Maybe I can talk about this. Okay, but as of now, in terms of preview, we can see all of 0. This is again, as I said, it's a insights. Okay, now coming to this, in terms of our optimization, we have seen this. So let's go with query optimization. So as in, then all the SQL developers should know this. Rather than having a view, maybe we can go with a materialized view, and we can apply indexing wherever it is possible, and we can have a proper joins, and they themselves have got us the query plans, execution plans. We can go for it. So all these are SQL optimizations. Wherever it is required, we can use indexing, common table expressions, try to use effective joins. So try to have a better way of coding, right? Just because the code is coming in ChatGPT, Copilot, don't copy paste it. Okay. Your Copilot, ChatGPT and all is built by human only. So there can be no powerful person than human. So start believing in AIs and start using your brain and start optimizing the code rather than taking the code from your net. Okay, so you need to have a proper coding system. This is all about SQL optimization. Now finally, we need to also have security. Okay, we need to have a security and compliance monitoring. So this is the last topic. So what we do here, whenever a new user comes in, the ID will be given, ID will be generated in Microsoft Entra ID. And from there, we'll be giving a provided features like maybe admin, contributor, or maybe reader access, all of this depending on his role, whether he wants to have a complete role, full role, moderate role, all of this will be decided. And then that will be mapped with multiple metadatas. So all of this is a security. Not anyone can log in. You need to have a proper authentication, and you need to have a multi-factor authentication as well in order to log into your Fabric environments. So this is all new steps that Microsoft has taken in the last 6 to 8 months. And as I said, we need to have a proper secure with Fabric is good. The name Fabric comes itself with a thread. Like you can connect multiple threads and make a fabric, right? So it connects with a lot of external tools. So you need to have a proper security. So it operates with intra ID tenant and making sure that we always have a multi-secure system. And whenever the data is not in use, maybe we can put encryption at rest. When the data is stored in one lake, it's encrypted so that no one else can just go and steal it. No one else can go and see it. So it's always be encrypted. Just like your WhatsApp says that, right? Your messages are end-to-end encrypted. Yeah, exactly. Here also, the data will be encrypted. And not everyone I'll give you the access, depending on your project, depending on your role. I'll be giving the access. It's like a role-based access. So RBAC will be given and permissions will be given depending on what project you work and what is your role, right? So followed by, we do have some sort of metadata processing, complaint certifications, like for example, if you're working with healthcare, if you're working some of the banking application, you need to have a proper security. A normal person, if I say I have an account, right? But if you ask even a Sachin Tendulkar, Amitabh Bachchan, or even any of the celebrities, Rajinikanth, even they will have bank account, right? One cannot go and simply see their account details, right? Even if you're a bank employee, you cannot simply go and see it. For example, let's say I'm a bank employee. I have all the access to customers. Do you think I can go and see all the celebrities' balance? Definitely no. There is some restriction, right? We need to have some sort of policies. We need to have some sort of rules that we need to follow. For that, we have the compliance certifications. We need to have a proper auditing, monitoring. So I don't know whether you guys have gone through it. In the recently, I think 3 days back, there was a robbery that happened in Bangalore, right? Did you hear about it? Yes? No?
Yes,
Yeah, the
Santosh.
wagon
Yes,
with
yes, Santosh.
the money.
Yeah.
They
Yes.
stole
Sir, yes,
Looted the
7
wagon.
crores from van.
7.11 crores, right? So it was like they've robbed it, right? But money they can rob it. What about digital data? Data also is not secure, correct? Anyone can go and steal your data. Possibility is there. You need to have a proper auditing. Whoever is logging into Fabric, I can figure out who has logged in, right? As a manager, as an admin, I'll exactly know who is using the workspace, what they are doing. I said to you, right? I'm actually a CCTV camera. I know what people are doing inside my environment, right? That's why I'm here. I call myself as a monitoring tool. I know how to monitor. I could be silent as long as I'm a CCTV camera. I focus on what is happening. Obviously, I need to go through some of the policies to come here. So we need to have some sort of policy to store the data. So compliance, certifications, auditing is something which I keep doing it. On daily basis, I keep tracking what is the workspace that has been used, how it is used, when it is used. All of this I do track it. Correct? So this comes under complaints. And followed by, as I said, activity logs. If any of the activity fails, we need to log it. See, if something goes wrong, it will always get tracked. Okay, if you have seen in some of the flights, right, aeroplanes, there is something called black box. Okay, there is something called black box. And something happens, everyone always try to focus on retrieve this black box. What is this black box? It's a data retrieval system. What conversation that has had in the pilot place, right? Or maybe what happened during the discussion. Everything will be recorded. Similarly, in terms of monitoring, I will also be monitoring everything in the backend. I'll be capturing the logs. It could be your pipeline logs. It could be some error logs, data access monitoring, for whom I did give the access, for whom I removed the access. Just because there is a person who's joined from my teammate, cousin, neighbor, friend, I cannot give him access, right? I cannot do that. I cannot give access. So monitoring will be happening even at the access. For whom I am giving the access? Why did I give the access? What purpose I give the access? All of this has been tracked. Correct? And finally, alerts and notification. This can be done with the email notification. So directly any person goes to some of the complaints list, maybe email notifications can be alerted. And we can have a lot of integration tools. As I said, monitoring tools can be still visualized as an app, and you can see all the report. So this is something which I'll be doing out part of every project. What I've explained today could be very high level for the guys who have just started stepping into a Fabric environment. But what I'm talking is from my side, I just want to minimize the cost and improve my project performance. So with that, I would like to stop here. And the last topic that is pending will be how to prepare for your exam. And that will be concluded. Last but not least, Suparna will be the person who will be helping you to prepare for the exam. And that will be the next week's session. And you'll get some sort of resources and you'll be getting some test dumps. All of this, Suparna will help you in terms of exam pattern, what you need to do, how you need to take. And in the start of the class, he was also talking about the free vouchers. So make use of it, take the certification, have a badge, and then apply for a job. Okay. With that, I'll stop here. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh. Thank you so much for your wonderful session. So team, first we'll go with quiz. Then later post the quiz, we will have a Q&A. So let me share my screen. So hope my screen is visible.
Yes, we can see it.
So please scan this QR code, and also if you want, you can directly click this link. So let me copy this link. So I'll will give you 2 to 4 minutes of time for filling the quiz.
Suparna, can you please add this in the chat?
Just a minute.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, just a minute. I'm doing the same. Let me copy the quiz form URL. And I'm also sharing the quiz form link. Yeah, just shared by Gopi. You can fill that one, and you can give your feedback also. So your feedback is very valuable for us. If anyone is facing any struggles, please do let us know. I hope all are participating in the quiz. So I'm stopping sharing my screen. Let me track your submissions. Yes, I'm getting the responses slowly. Okay. Meantime, you can go for quiz, and you can answer all of your questions, and I'll go through the chart, and if there is any questions, we will take it up. Can we get regarding session? Okay, fine. That Santosh, there is a question from Ganesh. What is G order clustering?
It's basically a technique where you can optimize your code. Like let's say you want to execute some sort of coding, and this Z ordering technique, what it happens is it internally optimizes. So internally we have the engine. That engine has a power to choose which code has to be executed first. Some sort of ordering will be given. This has to be executed first. This has to be executed second. This has to be executed third. So there is an internal ID that will be generated. Based on that, we will have to go and arrange it, and then we'll have to execute it. So that's how internally it happens. It is taken care by framework.
Yeah, thank you so much, Santosh. And Ramani, please unmute yourself. You can ask your question. You raised your hand.
Hello, thank you, sir, for allowing me to ask my concern. Actually, I'm a beginner in this field for fabric field, and I got a, Microsoft voucher for exam DP 600, DP 700. So I have no idea about anything related to fabric. So what I do, so actually I'm a beginner totally.
See, what I would suggest is, see, fabric is just an environment, okay? Before getting into fabric, if you have a fair idea about SQL, Python, how it works in the PySpark, and I would suggest you go with cloud first, learn Azure, then you can learn fabric. Directly fabric is also possible, but you need to understand first the ground of cloud. So my suggestion is, please have some sort of learning for the SQL, Python, PySpark, then you can come to Fabric. It's Fabric is just a platform, right? You just need to understand the technology, tools, languages before getting into the subject. So
yeah, just like Power BI, right?
yeah, exactly. Yes. Once you learn the way of reporting, then tool is like today you are using Power BI. Tomorrow you may use Tableau. Day after tomorrow you may use anything else, right? So it's a framework. That's exactly happening in Fabric. Fabric, everything you can do it in one place.
So start from I need to start from Python, right?
Yeah, start with SQL, Python, PySpark. This three should be the ground.